Seconds to get the play started. All set to go? Jarkko, heads or tails? Heads. It's a head. Serve.
The winner of this match, Dolgopolov and Nieminen will play Kei Nishikori.
Thank you. Ready for play.
Who earlier today beat Tommy
Ladies and gentlemen,
Robredo.
thank you.
Nieminen to serve.
Ready. Thank you. Love 15. Love 30. $15.30.
And Nieminen came up with a big serve when he needed one, just struggling a little to start this opening service game, and gets his first point on the back of that big serve.
$15.40.
Just a bit hurried there, though. He was rushed. Really mistiming that forehand. That went a long way down the net. So maybe a few opening game nerves. Gee, wonderful return to keep himself in the point there. And there's the trademark forehand. It's flashy.
First game.
Beautiful night here in Brisbane, inside and outside Pat Rafter Arena. It was very warm today, Fitzy. We commented on that during the day's play. Temperatures dropped a little, and obviously more comfortable conditions. But I know you've said a few times, for some of the players coming from the Northern European winter, it's very difficult to acclimatise instantly, particularly if they arrive only a day or so before the tournament gets going.
Dolgopolov to serve.
Yeah, no doubt. The heart rate is through the roof for the first few days when they come from the northern winter.
Well, today in particular.
Gee, there's that quick arm action. It's an interesting serve, isn't it? A lot of upwards motion.
15 left.
It's really the power is really derived out of this from the arm, the quick motion, because his body weight goes up a lot. Doesn't transfer his weight as much as some of the servers, but this is a fast arm.
30 love.
As well as winning a lot of praise, his almost scattergun approach has drawn some criticism as well. Do you think he needs to focus his game more and perhaps perfect a couple of key areas? Because he does have an all-called game, and he can hit winners from the net, left, right.
Well,
I think he's more of a hardcore player, probably. He would have played a lot of indoor tennis as a young man, and simply for the fact that the geography he came from determined that. But he can play. I've seen him play well on clay. He likes grass. He is an all-court player. He'll come in. He's talented with the volley, but he is flashy, and it's really his nature. I think it's just him being himself.
For serve.
You know, he is awkward though to play. You don't play, you know, this sort of style too much. He's different to most. Takes a while to acclimatise against someone like this.
Game.
So his timing is out at the moment, Nieminen, and probably a bit to do with that quick action.
Dolgopolov leads 2 games to love.
You know, the second serve there didn't come anywhere near as fast as you'd expect. You see the quick arm, but there's so much spin on it, it almost becomes a light serve, and Nieminen there completely losing his timing on the return. There you go, 129 Ks. Not fast. Good point from Nieminen there, but you will see Dolgopolov's first serve, though, go fast. He will hit that flat, and you'll see some high recorded times on the speed gun, but his second one gets quite light. It's a funny sort of fizzy little second serve, but I like the way he varies the pace during the rally, Dolgopolov. You know, all of a sudden he'll crush one. Whereas, Basil, the style of Nieminen is just a solid, almost a counter-puncher in some ways. He'll use his forehand to try to open up the court a little bit, the left-handed forehand, but you pretty much get the same speed of hit from his racket most of the time, whereas Dolgopolov will mix it a bit more. He'll hit a few light ones, and then out of nowhere he will just unleash power with that small frame. So that keeps you on the back foot a little bit.
Just missed that one wide. Dolgopolov grew up on the circuit, really. His father, Alexandr Sr., was a tour player and coached Andrei Medvedev. His mother, Elena, a European medal-winning gymnast. So he's got some sporting credentials. He used to hit as a kid with Agassi and Becker and Courier.
All.
I mean, as a little kid, just a little tacker following Dad around.
Mr. Dolgopolov challenging the call, left side near sideline. Ball is called out.
Well, I think safely out here. I'd be surprised if this catches the line. I don't know why he would. I'm not sure why he would challenge there. 30-15 point. Oh, goodness me. Well, there you go.
Replay the point. It's 30-all.
Missed by the central umpire and, I must admit myself, in
Central
the commentary
commentator.
box. Yes.
Well, Fitzy, we were right on that line, and I agree with you. It looked, to the naked eye, it looked wide by a bit.
40-30.
I think that's a bit of a waste, that shot. He hits that incredibly flat, that backhand, and so that reduces the margin for error.
Game, Nieminen.
So Nieminen on the board. Dolgopolov leading 2-1 in the first.
Dolgopolov leads 2-1. Time. Seats quickly, please. Thank you. Ready for play. Thank you.
That's what we've got to look forward to tomorrow on Pat Rafter Arena. Australia's Leighton Hewitt against Dennis Isterman. We saw Leighton last night, Fitzy.
Please take the
longer the match went, particularly in that third serve, the more motivated he was getting, really inspiring himself. The old style Leighton Hewitt, the fist pump, and well, sitting alongside you, it was hard not to get excited, Fitzy.
Gee, I'd hate to think, Basil. You like all that stuff, don't you? You like him fired up, Leighton.
15 low.
Yeah, I think Australia loves Leighton Hewitt fired up. They love him fighting, and well, most especially, I think we love to see him out on court.
For sure.
Well, if he's injury free, fantastic.
Yeah.
He's unorthodox. Dolgopolov, he's hard to read. Out of nowhere, he hits a drop shot there from the baseline, and he does keep you on the back foot. The downside here is that sometimes he goes for a bit too much. Maybe he's got too many options sometimes, and can throw in 2 or 3, maybe 4 errors in a row to lose sets. So if you can avoid that, he's dangerous against anybody.
Ball, right side, far sideline. Ball is called in.
So called in, and you can see Nieminen wandering down to where he thinks it missed by.
Yeah, he's not sure.
He was right. And you're right, Fitzy, the action can be a bit deceptive. It looks a very fast action with the arm, but the speed isn't always generated.
Well, he brushes the strings across the ball a lot, especially on that second serve. And that's a fast one because he gave it the full face of the racket.
3-1, he leads Dolgopolov.
Dolgopolov leads 3 games to 1.
Great shot.
Yeah, that's the flair. Not an easy shot there, and he plays it close to the wick, doesn't he? Not afraid to go for the lines. That ball fading there, even closer to that line.
$15.
You know, when your opponent hits the ball deep like that, and it's not a half volley, obviously, but he's taking that ball on the rise, and it's certainly, well, it's not really at the top of its apex, and you really need to time that ball perfectly to get it over the high part of the net there down the line. Certainly a high risk. He likes the two-hander. That's a solid hit. You can hear it. Great body weight transference there. Really steps into the ball, transfers the weight, and gives it the full face of the racket. Beautiful shot.
Did well, Nieminen, to get it back in, and then a bit of a stumble from Dolgopolov as he went towards the ball at the net, and in the end just hit it long.
Yeah, he slips, doesn't he? There he goes. He slips with his left foot there and puts him off balance.
So a couple of game points here for Nieminen to get it back to 2-3 in the opening set.
Oh, game Nieminen.
What a way to win the point. Nieminen 2-3 against.
Dolgopolov leads 3-2. Time.
Alexandr Dolgopolov of Ukraine has a service break. 3-2. The fourth seed after 15 minutes. Will be coming out for a 4-2 lead. Now, he worked for some time with Jack Reeder, the South Australian. We know that he spent a fair bit of time, Dolgopolov, in Brisbane and in Adelaide last off-season. But they've parted ways, and Jack now, as we know from last night, working with Kunitsen.
Nieminen there off balance, put the racket in his right hand. That was interesting. He's off balance. There's the one-handed, right-handed forehand.
He hit that like a left-hander, actually, didn't he?
He likes that shot, and he's prepared to take a risk with that. He thinks there's always going to be good reward from that two-hander when he steps inside the baseline. Just sprays this one, but this is a dangerous weapon he's got. I think more so probably than the forehand. There's more forward speed on that backhand. The forehand loops more. Oh, great ball there. That's a classy forehand.
40 love.
That's confidence right there. Well, I think you wouldn't see that shot so often if it was break point or 40-30, but at 40 love, he just threw caution to the wind there and hit it perfectly.
Couldn't get to that one. Dolgopolov with the break, 4-2.
Dolgopolov leads 4-2.
Big night for Millman, isn't it? He's got a fair bit of time to think about it.
He's nothing if not dangerous, is he?
15.
He's an interesting cat. Great talent. Flicks the ball around, does Dolgopolov. And when he gets the chance, just flattens this one out and crushes it. Not bad for a frame. It's that small.
Found the winner.
Yeah, he's an entertainment machine at times. Plays some scary ball.
Net for serve.
Long, so trouble
40.
here with 3 break points for a double break in this opening game.
Yeah, you think the first set is gone here if he falls. Dolgopolov just trying to blow the match open early. That's too good.
Dolgopolov.
Well, he does break. He only needed one of them. 5-2 his lead after 22 minutes in this first set.
Time.
Well, in slow motion, it's very different, isn't it? It's like a blur when it's in real time.
Dolgopolov serving with new balls for the opening set.
Love 15.
The body language not great from Nieminen after that last service break.
Look, it wasn't, but you know, you can understand he hasn't done a lot wrong. This guy's just been lighting it up for the last 15 minutes.
$15 all.
Sometimes you just got to wait for players to come down off their pedestal. It's been a very impressive opening, hasn't it?
Pedestal just went up a little. But by that, Fitzy, you mean that when they're playing at a really high level in a match, you just got to hope and expect, rather, that perhaps there'll be that 15, 20-minute patch when they won't keep it up at that level. Although Dolgopolov at the moment knows only
50.
one level, and it's the penthouse.
Yeah, well, Nieminen will want to make a quick start and get his nose in front early in the second set. He doesn't want this to continue, this trait.
Game, first set.
Huge
Dolgopolov.
serving from Dolgopolov. He gets it done 6-2 in 25 minutes.
6 games to 2.
The fourth seed looking good.
Time. Second set.
That's what Jarkko Nieminen has been on the receiving end of. Forehands just like that one. Blistering ground strokes of Alexandr Dolgopolov, and a very quick first set, 6-2, 25 minutes only. The 31-year-old Finn just searching for answers at the moment, Fitzy.
Yeah, he's being hit off the court so far, but well, if it continues, if Dolgopolov can continue this level, it'll be too good, but let's see if he can. Oh, he gets a bit of luck. That's not what Nieminen needs right at this moment.
Everything going.
That'll really make him punchy.
Dolgopolov's way. Poor old Jarkko might feel like he's playing his wife Anu at badminton. She's the #1 badminton player in Finland, and she's so good that Jarkko just refuses to play against her. Hits that one long. And interestingly, both Anu and Jarkko Nieminen were members of the Finnish Olympic team in 2004 and 2008. Jarkko, of course, playing tennis, and his wife Anu on the badminton team. And he said in a recent interview, he says, sometimes we'll have a hit, but we don't keep score because I never score. So we just hit.
Oh, great smash. Not easy, that one. You know, we're seeing here a little bit of that example where Dolgopolov doesn't hit the ball with much pace.
15-40.
And then out of nowhere, when the ball presents itself, he steps into the court and smashes one. And if he's on fire and if he makes the one that he goes after, he's very difficult to play because it continually keeps the opposition on the back foot. And there you go. He's confused a bit, Nieminen.
He saved the first, but not the next one. Dolgopolov with the early break. 1-love in the second.
So the first set really was, it was all about him, wasn't it? Nieminen was just sort of making up the numbers there, keeping the ball in play, hitting the ball solidly, which he does. And he didn't play a bad first set. It's just that everything that Dolgopolov went after came off, especially late in the set.
Game first set, Dolgopolov.
And to see Nieminen serve and volley there at 15-40, that's unusual. You don't see him do that too often, and that's a sign that he's a bit confused, not quite sure how to play against this young lad.
Maybe even a bit desperate.
Yeah.
Love.
Jarkko, of course, is an absolute Finnish hero. Well loved, one of the most recognisable people in the country. He recently opened the Jarkko Nieminen Tennis Academy. He's a generous fella, lovely bloke and well respected on tour. And he did his national service a couple of years ago as well. Small country like Finland, and all the males up to the age of 35 are expected and indeed required to do national service. He said he was down for 11 months, and in the end the Army Chiefs let him off after about 3. He said he loved it. And interestingly, he said what he most liked about it was not having to think. Just 3 months of being told what to do. He said on the tennis circuit, you're always planning your next practice session, your next match, your next trip, booking your next hotel. He said it was lovely just to check into the barracks and be told what to do and not have to think.
I would have thought most people were opposite of that. They don't like being told what to do, Basil.
Game Dolgopolov.
Pretty easy hold. Dolgopolov 2-love in the second.
Dolgopolov leads 2-love. Love 15.
Sure did, Todd. And no rest for Victoria Azarenka, the #1 player in the world. She played the first match tonight and she's back up tomorrow. She'll be back out here on Rod Laver Arena. Second match up against Ksenia Pervak. So it's a quirk of the scheduling, I guess. She had a bye in the first round, not much action for 3 or 4 days, and then a couple of matches in almost 12 hours.
Yeah, I think when you have a bye in the first round, that next match is a biggie, isn't it? You know, you're playing someone that's already got a win under their belt. You have the bye. You come in and there's just a bit of unknown territory there, and it's a relief to get through. She ends up then being in the third round, or in the quarterfinals, but just a little nerve-wracking getting off to the start, I think. Jarkko serving a volley. He's all at sea here. He's been totally thrown by the unorthodox type of play from Alexandr Dolgopolov. He's just not quite sure which way he should play. He'll be thankful for that. And that's actually in the context here a bit of a bad miss, because Dolgopolov is on the verge here of just destroying Nieminen. Well, Nieminen's totally lost his rhythm. I bet right now he feels like, look at that.
30-40.
He feels like he's in the twilight zone out here, because he's playing a guy that's just completely wrecked his rhythm.
Oh, amazing hustle from Dolgopolov, but that one just wide, and Nieminen fighting against break point to stay alive. Gets it to Juice.
Well, he's hanging on by a string, isn't he? If Dolgopolov hadn't missed his footing there, he probably would have won that point, I think.
So now game point for Nieminen. And we've just heard a little whisper that the doctor may have been called for by Nieminen. And no surprise, really. He looks to be struggling physically.
He gets out of jail there.
Holds eventually. 2-1 down in the second set.
Dolgopolov leads 2-1.
Well, let me listen to your question.
Is this a sign for all now?
That's fine. Let's check what's going around there.
It's really to get.
You want to relax your arms to the side?
So the doctor and the trainer out with Jarkko Nieminen, and a bit of concern from Jarkko. He explained to the doctor that he felt during that first set and early in the second, it just felt like being sick for a lot of the time.
He said he was shaky, felt like he might throw up.
Clearly distressed, and the doctor just took his blood pressure. So this just a few moments ago. But he's back on his feet, and he's going to battle it on.
Thank you. Play continues.
Maybe it's because he's been jerked around all over the court so far. He doesn't know whether he's coming or going, but he's certainly a tough customer, Nieminen. Unlike him to be in this situation. I've seen him play some brutal 5-set matches in heat. He's tough.
15
well, he actually joked then when the doctor said, "I'm going to take your blood pressure." He said, "Oh, this is not a good look," but he let him take it, and he couldn't get that Velcro off quickly enough. He might feel sick, but he didn't want that photo in the paper tomorrow.
Tough ball, that one. That was really low percentage, the last one.
And not suggesting that Jarkko was fudging in any way, but how often will the more experienced players just call for a break to just try and slow things up a little, because clearly Dolgopolov was blowing him off the court.
I reckon there's an inference of fudging there, Basil, from you.
Well, he needed a breather, and he needed an extended breather.
He's playing solid now. He's putting a little bit more on the backhand, just trying to keep it in play. And going with his stock shot across court, so not opening the court up at all. Well, if he's feeling a bit crooked, that'll take a bit out of him. I mean, it's a good percentage play, I think, for him to hit his two-handed backhand across court. It's safe. He likes that shot. He feels comfortable with it. And he's letting Dolgopolov decide whether except for that shot, but the vast majority across court, letting Dolgopolov make the decision about whether he pulls the trigger and takes the risk.
24 shots that last rally.
I'll tell you what, if he's dragging the chain, though, he might be a bit more now after that.
He went for the
40,
line.
30.
It was just long. And now game point for Dolgopolov.
Right now he thinks he's playing his wife in badminton.
He doesn't want to keep score.
You shouldn't have told me that.
Missed it.
Deuce.
Yeah, he'll be a bit dirty, I think, Dolgopolov, if he loses this game, because he certainly had the momentum. He was very close on break point to breaking for two breaks there in the previous game. If he gets back to 2 all, he'll be a little bit punchy, I would think.
Great serve when he needed it. Right on the line, wide, and going further away. So game point again. Good serve.
Yeah, the serve saves him.
Game, Dolgopolov.
Another one he holds. It's 3-1 in the second set.
Dolgopolov leads 3 games to 1.
Sleepless night for John Millman, perhaps. He's got Andy Murray. It's the matchup he wanted. He thought it was possible and had his eyes on it, and he's got it.
Well, he has nothing to lose. He deserves his opportunity, and let's hope he gets off to a good start and really plays well. You know, interesting, both Williams and Murray won the Olympics and the US Open. These conditions, not unlike the US Open. I think it's probably a little bouncier and a little, maybe a little quicker, the surface slightly, and maybe the balls are a fraction faster, but certainly not dissimilar to the conditions. And they play at night over there in New York, and both Murray and Williams, you'd expect, would love these conditions.
$15.30.
Well, that was not a good sign. That's a wild backhand. Looked like he lost his balance there, Jarkko. And you'd think a break of serve here, and it won't be long and he'll be packing his bags.
Just long.
He's physically taxed, isn't he?
Yeah, now 2 break points. For a 4-1 lead in the second set. He's made light work of it, Dolgopolov. It's only 44 minutes they've been on court.
Looks like he's almost ready to stumble at the end of these rallies.
Net for serve.
Is he the sort of player to give it away?
Well, no, not historically. Absolutely not. He's a tough customer, so he must be feeling lousy. Just nowhere to hide, you know, in a situation like this. A one-on-one combative sort of sport, and nowhere to go. A big crowd watching you. It's embarrassing if you can't be at your best. You know, it's like you're under the microscope. He'd be feeling pretty ordinary right now.
1 break point saved.
Oh, wonderful. That's more like the old fella.
Deuce. Advantage, Dolgopolov.
I'll tell you what, Fitzy, he's clearly showed a lot of courage here, hasn't he? Because he is in a bad way. I mean, we know he's not the sort of guy to shirk the issue.
He's not at all.
He's been around way too long for that. And so this has been courage in its own way.
Well, he's just, if he can get to the break without the change of ends, without losing another serve. If he can just get to the change of ends and only be down 1 break and maybe, you know, have the body start to feel a little better, it'll give him some hope. Oh, that's a monster forehand there. Gee, that's a talented shot. Whew.
Advantage, Dolgopolov.
Most of these players have a big forehand, some bigger than others, and this one's quite a unique one. Oh, that's even better.
Dolgopolov.
Can't save that break point, and Dolgopolov leads at 4-1. He's storming towards victory.
Time.
Got the best seat in the house right here. Jarkko Nieminen with his back against the wall, but refusing to throw the towel in, which is terrific. He's out there. Down 1-4 in the second set.
For certain.
Dolgopolov serving for a 5-1 lead. He's got a stranglehold on this match after 49 minutes.
Love 15. 15 all.
He's in a bit of trouble here, and I'm just wondering.
Yeah, he's about to throw up, I think, is what he's saying. He's about to throw up, so he's just walked off the court.
Bathroom break.
I think that's what it was. For a point or two, he was playing right out in front of our window here in the commentary box, and I feel sure that's what he was saying. He couldn't even speak to the umpire. He just pointed to his mouth and walked off.
His coach there saying 5 times I think he's felt like this, and
well, maybe he threw up before the match. I think he's having hot and cold chills, I'd say, right there.
So he sends the message. Well, credit to Jarkko. He's done the right thing by everybody. He got off the court. The former Hawthorn champion, Chris Mew, is the name that comes to mind. Fitzy, you're a Victorian. Well, you live in Melbourne now. You know all about that. So, well, it's an uncomfortable situation for everybody. So a break for Nieminen, and we'll take the opportunity to take a break as well. 4-1 up Dolgopolov.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nieminen is not feeling very well, but he wanted to give you his best he could tonight. He needs to retire. The match to Dolgopolov. 6-2, 4-1, retire.
So Steve Ulrich, the chair umpire, just explaining that Jarkko gallantly gave his best tonight, but just is not up to it. Not feeling well at all. So
no, he's a little lighter right now than he was, I think, about 2 minutes ago. Tough gig, isn't it? If you're feeling unwell, come out and play in this warmth. So it's unfortunate from